Coming up next on Behind the Badge, MPD officers now have the power to save lives right in their patrol cars. As summer approaches, residents are encouraged to park smart in hopes of reducing car break-ins. Mother-daughter duo. We introduce you to the first mother and daughter at MPD helping to fight crime. MPD has added 2 more mental health co-responders, helping those who may be going through a mental health crisis. Scouting Open House. Local scouting troops and packs toured the MPD headquarters. Those stories and more. Behind the Badge starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Larry Flowers, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Badge, an inside look at news and newsmakers of the Murfreesboro Police Department. The Murfreesboro Police Department has started to equip its police cars with a device that could save lives in a heartbeat. In an emergency, every second counts. For a person having a heart attack, getting help to them as soon as possible is crucial.
A lot of people in our community die every year of heart attacks. And literally from heart attacks, minutes mean the difference between life and death. A 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute delay can make a huge difference whether somebody survives or not.
And with police officers normally arriving on scene first,
that 1 or 2 or 3 minutes we get there before the other agencies, whether that's the fire department or the ambulance service get there, makes a huge difference in survivability.
That's why MPD decided to equip its police cars with a device that could save lives in a heartbeat.
Automatic defibrillator. Unit OK. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help.
Uniformed officers will have automatic external defibrillators or AEDs on hand for emergencies.
All an officer would do is when they get to the scene, they would lay this down inside, unzip it, pull it open. When they pull it open, inside there are a set of defibrillator pads. They simply turn on the machine.
As part of their in-service training, officers undergo CPR and AED training every 2 years.
I look back over my career, I wish that I'd had these a long time ago. But just think of the lives that we're going to save now.
An AED is an easy-to-use medical device designed to help a person who may be experiencing a sudden cardiac arrest.
Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest.
With the press of a button, the machine automatically analyzes the heart's rhythm and, if necessary, it will deliver an electrical shock to help reestablish an effective heart rhythm.
CPR buys time. Defibrillation saves lives.
MPD began equipping cruisers with AEDs in mid-April. The goal is to issue all uniformed officers an AED by the end of the year.
Literally, we have the ability to save lives right in our patrol car.
The goal is to issue all uniformed officers an AED by the end of the year. Murfreesboro Police and Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department recently kicked off a Park Smart campaign, hoping to reduce the number of car break-ins across the city.
Did you know that locking your vehicle doors may not be enough to keep your vehicle safe, especially if you're leaving your items in open view?
Thieves are taking that next step and breaking in car windows to steal your wallet, purse, or phone if you've left them in plain sight.
Locking your doors is great, but take that extra step and be sure to hide your items or just take them with you when you leave your vehicle.
Remember to always park smart. Hide your stuff, lock your car, and take your key.
MPD and Parks and Rec will also be promoting the Park Smart campaign on social media as part of the 9 p.m. routine. A reminder that each night by 9 p.m. to make sure your cars are locked, valuable items and guns are removed, also that you take your keys and key fobs. MPD has added 2 additional mental health co-responders, bringing the number to 3, helping those who may be experiencing a mental health crisis. Kevin Wilson and Sidney Kucinski-Land joined co-responder Heather Newless, who began working with MPD's Crisis Intervention Team, or CIT, in February of 2022. Wilson is a licensed master social worker and mandatory pre-screening agent undergoing LCSW supervision for the state of Tennessee. He is serving on MPD's Homeless Outreach Support Team, or HOST, as an MPD Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare System co-response specialist. Kucinski-Land is a clinician hired by Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare Systems. She embedded with MPD last October. She responds to mental health-related calls with CIT officers Monday through Fridays from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. The mental health co-responders have responded to hundreds of mental health-related calls and interacted with hundreds of individuals since the VBHCS partnership began. 29% of the mental health-related calls were for individuals experiencing psychosis, 29% for suicidal thoughts, and 12% for depression or anxiety. Many were diverted from incarceration to treatment-based alternatives. Only 6 of the 300-plus consumers were arrested. 65 clients would have unnecessarily been transported to the emergency room for psychiatric evaluation if it wasn't for those mental health co-responders and CIT officers. The City of Murfreesboro, Murfreesboro Police, and Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare Systems funded the 2 new positions through a $500,000 grant. The contract expires in June of 2024. For the first time in the history of the Murfreesboro Police Department, a mother-daughter duo is on duty, helping to fight crime in the city.
I'm very proud of Class 1972.
At the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy graduation, recently held at Middle Tennessee State University.
They've also learned the value of service.
A special bond in Class 1972 between a police recruit and her mother.
Kara Michelle Treadway, Murfreesboro Police Department.
Officer Kara Treadway was presented her basic training class certificate of completion by her mother, Murfreesboro Police Department Criminal Investigations Division Detective Julia Cox, becoming one of the first in Toledo's history to do so.
I did have a couple other chiefs come up to me and say that they had never seen a mother-daughter or a mother presenting the daughter with a certificate at, in the same department. So hopefully this tradition will live on.
I was very happy. I was very honored to shake her hand to receive the certificate from her specifically. It felt like I was making her very proud, and I wanted to cry, but I had to hold it in together for her, but I love her so much.
The day brought back memories for Detective Cox.
A couple of different things. One, little deja vu. It just seems like yesterday I was walking across that stage, even though it was almost 13 years ago.
Law enforcement for them is a family affair.
We try and teach our children to do as we say, not as we do. I hope that they learn from our mistakes. But her following in the line of law enforcement is something that I, as her mom, is very proud of, that she decided to follow in those footsteps. Of course, her stepdad was retired law enforcement as well. So it runs in the family. Just very proud, and I'm here to support her and be there for her, and I know she'll do well.
Just seeing what they did, how they made people proud, how they changed people's perspective and helped others. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to make a difference. They just made me proud, so I want to make them proud too.
These two also become the first mother-daughter duo to work at MPD.
It's definitely going to be interesting having my daughter in the same department, seeing her in the hallway, seeing her out in the parking lot, hearing her voice over the radio. It's definitely going to be an adjustment, but I think that she'll make me proud.
It's nice knowing that I'll have somebody that I know, I'll have good connections, just knowing that I'll have her there and she'll always have my back no matter what. I just love having her around. She's my best friend.
A special mother-daughter moment that will live on.
It was nerve-wracking, but it felt like just a goal that I had been wanting to achieve for so long. It felt like I fulfilled a very high hope in myself.
Primarily proud She's worked very hard to get where she's at, and just a proud mom moment.
The mother-daughter duo is hoping other mothers and daughters will be inspired to follow in their footsteps. MPD recently held its first Scouting Open House at the police department. It was a day for local PACs and troops to come together to see what we have to offer at the police department. The Murfreesboro Police Department Community Engagement Division invited area scout PACs and troops from kindergarten to 5th grade to attend the Scouting Open House. Activities included a building tour, including our Emergency Communication Center, a patrol car tour, K-9 demonstrations, and a training on proper flag folding.
We usually get requests for tours for Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Brownies, so we decided to just bring them all in one night and have an open house night. We've had probably 15 groups so far, and we're not done yet.
The Community Engagement Division is hoping to sponsor another Scouting Open House later this year. Each April, we pause to say thank you to the 911 workers as part of National Telecommunicators Week.
I don't think this could be any more appropriate based upon the last week. We've had, so, you know, I have a 10-year-old son, and I think we all have gone through listening to the video or listening to the communication, the 911 communication of the Covenant shooting. We've watched all the videos, and then on Friday or Thursday and Friday to be able to listen to what's happened in Reedyville. I want to commend our Murfreesboro Fire and Recreation Department. I think the chief is here. Not only the chief, but Nate Williams is back here somewhere. Nate helped coordinate getting buses to get volunteers out to Reedyville. Our police department, my boys, for example, just to give you an idea of how community comes together. I didn't know this. They came home. They went out to Reedyville day before yesterday, and the entire school was out helping at a family's home who was devastated. So, you know, when something happens like what's happened in our community, it really shows who we are. And so I think it's very appropriate that we talk about National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, because if it were not for our dispatchers, it's a hard time to get where you're going if you don't know where you're supposed to go, and that's what our dispatchers do. So, whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who call the Murfreesboro Emergency Communications Center for help. Whereas public safety telecommunicators the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators provide a vital link to our police officers and firefighters by providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Murfreesboro Emergency Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each public safety telecommunicator says exhibit compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of his or her duties in the past year. Now, therefore, I, Shane McFarland, Mayor of the City of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim April 9th through the 15th, 2023, to observe National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, and ask all the citizens to join me in expressing our appreciation to the City of Murfreesboro's emergency communication personnel for their hard work and dedication.
Well, I'm about to come up on my 12-year anniversary, so I started here in April of 2011. It's not really something I ever saw myself doing. I don't know if it was even on my radar as a career choice. I just kind of fell into it, and then I found the love of helping people. It's different every day. You just never know what you're going to get when you come in. So that's kind of what's kept me here. It's almost like a big family here. We see each other here more than our own family sometimes, so you really grow those bonds, and it makes it easier to come into work when you know you've got a great group of people that you're going to be working with. 12 years is a long time. I've just, stayed and grown in my position. I became a CTO, which is a training officer, I think in 2013, so I did that for a few years, and then I became a supervisor in 2018, so I've been doing that since 2018. I mostly oversee the evening shift, even though we're kind of all a day team now, and that's what I do here.
I've been here approximately a year. We moved down here last July. I've been in communications now for 17 years, in emergency services for over 20. I was a fireman and a dispatcher in upstate New York as well. The one thing through the years that really has touched me the most in this job is the fact that you really got to love what you do and the people that you do it with. It's not just about the people calling in, but the people that are in the room with you as well. They're going through the same calls and the same stress that you're going through, and you got to lean on each other to get through that. Well, the one thing that really impressed me when I first came down here was the fact that they really opened their arms up to me, not just as a person, but as somebody with 16 years of experience. Some people have actually come and asked me, questions as to what I've learned in the past and how they could use that here to assist with furthering this center as well.
I served for probably about a little over 4 years in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then I've been here for just over a year. I read an article a long time ago that said that people who get into this profession to save lives is not necessarily the right way, but if you get in it to help people, you're going to help someone every single day. So I like to work by that philosophy, I guess. Another thing that I kind of, base my work around is CIT. But everyone knows that is, but it's crisis intervention training. And not all telecommunicators get it. I actually got it with my previous agency. But they teach you a lot about how everyone who's calling 911 is in crisis in some way or another. And it kind of rewired my whole brain for the job. I think a lot of people easily lose empathy in this field or in just public services in general. Because we deal with it so much day in, day out, and it's kind of a way to protect ourselves. But I'm a big believer in maintaining the empathy, because you're working with these people who are in crisis and they need an empathetic voice on the phone when they're going through that. So I helped someone give birth over the phone. It was actually her brother calling, so I directed him through the birth. That was probably my dream call, the call that I really, really wanted to take. It's one of the very, very few happy things we get to deal with in here, or just in this field. And I knew it was rare to happen because these days response times are so quick. They have to call and just be right about to give birth when they're calling. So that was very fulfilling to finally get to do that.
A lot of times we're in the background. Sometimes people don't even really know what we do, but we're always here if you need to call us. We're here 24/7, 365. We don't get holidays. Anytime that you call in, somebody is going to answer the phone that's well-trained and prepared to take your call. They're going to get you the help that you need, make sure that you're safe, make sure if you're having a medical emergency that you get the paramedics there quickly. It's just sometimes it's a thankless job, but that's not why we do it, and we're always here when people need help.
The dispatcher role is, they debate whether or not we're responders or we're first responders, but we are the people that are talking to that person on their worst day first. I mean, they're calling us, and the first voice they hear, the first place they're looking for help is here at dispatch. And the training here in Murfreesboro is tremendous compared to where I came from. We rarely ever went to trainings where they send people all over the countryside to get further training to make us better, so that when that person is having their worst day, we're able to calm them down. We're able to save their life, to assist them in any way we can to make sure that their day does get better.
Telecommunicators Week was recognized April 9th through the 15th. MPD launched a new webpage that assists residents in reporting reoccurring traffic issues such as speeding, failing to stop at a stop sign or red light, parking issues, and other traffic violations. To report a traffic violation, simply visit the Murfreesboro Police Department's webpage you see there on your screen and click the Report a Traffic Complaint tab. You can report anonymously or leave your contact information for a traffic supervisor to contact you. Before we go, we want to give a few shout-outs. A special shout-out to Sergeant Mark Wood, Field Training Officer Drew Stallnecker, and Officer Bree Dunn with the MPD Homeless Outreach Support Team or host on being named Officer of the Year by the Exchange Club of Rutherford County for working with the city's unhoused community. A special shout out to SVU Sergeant Paul Mungo, who received a Heroes Award from the Child Advocacy Center of Rutherford County Annual Walk for Children for all the work that he does in helping to protect our children in the community. A shout out goes to SVU Detective Michael Yates and Police Evidence Technician Robbie Walls, who won the Best Dessert and Best Chili Recipe at the annual Chili Cook-Off to raise money for the American Cancer Society. MPD Officers Wilkins, Stillman, Campbell, Spence, McGuire, and Sergeant Denton receive a shout-out for the Traffic Safety and Child Passenger Safety Awards they received at the Tennessee Highway Safety Office Banquet in Bell Buckle. A thank you shout-out goes to the MPD basketball team who participated in the Guns and Hoses basketball game. MFRD won the game, but the real winner was the American Cancer Society, who received proceeds from the fundraiser. A shout-out for Officer McGuire and Shanna Barger, who received a letter of thank you from an accident victim involved in a crash on Highway 96 in Fortress. A shout-out for Officer Peterson and Ellis, who participated in the Rutherford County's 22nd Annual Earth Day celebration. Also, a shout-out for Sergeant Amy Denton and the MPD interns who participated in the MTSU Career Fair. Shout-outs for Officer Spence, Officer Templeton, and Lloyd for 30 years of valuable and faithful service to MPD. And finally, shout-outs to the following MPD employees on their recent retirement. Sergeant Tim Higgins, IT Network Manager Bill Terry. Remember, we're here to serve and protect you. If you have any questions about the Murfreesboro Police Department, or if you're looking for a job, give us a call at 615-849-2MPD. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time as we go behind the badge.